Welcome, everyone. I'm now calling this meeting to order. Please stand with us to be led in prayer. Alderman Gallagher, please remain standing after that for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Alderman Payne will lead us in the pledge tonight.
Heavenly Father, Lord, we love you and we thank you for our opportunity to be here tonight. Lord, we pray that you would be with our country tomorrow as we undergo the transition, Lord, that you would watch out over the people, Lord, and that you would help unite us. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda this evening is the approval of minutes for the January 5, 2021 meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of January 5th, 2021 with any additions, deletions, or corrections. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Coots. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is our debt management plan adoption. Mr. Chris Wilson.
Mayor Board, this policy is basically just putting in writing and formalizing what we currently do as far as statutory guidelines for issuing and managing debt, and the policies that would trigger when Mayor and Board would seek to issue debt. Be happy to answer any questions about it. It's like I said, it's best practice and policies that we've been following. There's nothing new in this. Definitions, and the majority of it is just a statutory authority on how to issue debt in this city.
I will make that motion.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? I'll just add, it's well written. Chris can put it all into writing just again to codify what we're already doing. Got to think long term. This group has worked well with a sound financial plan. So you got to put things in place, to set a precedent and an example for future leadership, and hopefully that whatever happens this year with the elections and in future years that future boards and mayors will pay attention to the success we've had. We've been very successful financially, and it's because of plans like this and policies like this. So I appreciate Chris putting it all into writing, and I appreciate all the board, your actions in leading our city with a sound financial. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Coots.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for amending Ordinance 9, Chapter 2, Article 1, Section 4 through 31, an expiration of building permit.
This ordinance amendment, as recommended by the building department, will reduce the time that a building permit is out from 2 years to 1 year, which will hopefully help with the efficiency of speeding up projects and not letting them sit there not built for over a year. So tonight, authorization of the mayor to sign this resolution for the ordinance amendment, amending the building permit length from 2 years to 1 year.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Hoots, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? I think we did talk about this in the ordinance committee meeting. Been several situations like this over the last last 4 years, where we had buildings where construction would start and then nothing would happen for months and months. not a good look for the city. It's not good for, for market values and other developments that are waiting to see what's going on. So I think and it's the same thing in the residential situation. It's not a good thing when you have property under construction for an unlimited amount of time. So I think it's a great order.
We got one over on 51 that I agree with.
Yeah, I know. That's a great example. Yeah. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hughes.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution amending ordinance 4, Chapter 5, Section 4208 for bonds.
Yeah, this will, amendment to the ordinances will increase the surety bond amount from $5,000 to $10,000, just based on recent damage that's been done to city property by some contractors, and the bonds have not been enough to cover those costs that the city had to outlay. So tonight, authorization for the mayor to sign this resolution for the ordinance amendment to authorize the bond sureties to be increased from $5,000 to $10,000 for public construction or construction projects within the city.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hughes.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is the Star Landing Road MOU with DeSoto County.
This MOU with DeSoto County is part of the DeSoto County's obligation to deal with, to expand, widen Star Landing Road 4 lanes for the Armory project occurring. 4 lane will go from the railroad to Lacey Boulevard. The county is doing the project in the city, so as part of that, voting the MOU basically authorizing the county to do the road work on a city road. And this MOU will authorize the county to expand Star Landing Road, even though it's within the city, and obtain the right-of-ways as part of the project. The only obligation the city would have is in the event that utilities, or when utilities need to be moved, the city will either provide a 25% match that's part of the funding for the remaining utilities, or if there is no state and or federal funding, the city will split the utility costs, relocation costs with the county for the part of the Portland Road. The county considered it this morning. I have not heard back as far as if they approved or not. My understanding was the recommendation for them to approve this. The only obligation the city has is to assist in the cost of the relocation of utilities when it comes to that time for the project. But we have no obligations or costs for the expansion, for the actual construction and or land acquisition.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion?
You can make the motion depending upon the county's approval. I feel confident they probably approved it, but if not, we can come back to the next meeting. But the motion tonight will just be dependent upon county approval as well.
County's not changing, we keep changing.
We adjust that in your Alderman Gallagher City.
I mean, I think the county needs, the county got to get started. They can't start until they have this on. I'm assuming they approved it as quickly as possible. But anyway, that's fine. Have that motion as well. But.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hughes.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
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 Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda is the appointment of our DeCrua board member. Did you have a meeting update?
Our current appointee is Donnie Chambliss. I don't know if I think he's still willing to do that, but I don't know how what the board's thoughts are. I know it's been previously discussed about how maybe the board wants to appoint to that position. The current appointment due expired in January. The crew meeting is tomorrow. If we don't make an appointment tonight, we just won't have a representative at that meeting tomorrow. And we have one for the February meeting, but not tomorrow's meeting. So that's that's where it is at this point. So we would need to either make an appointment tonight of who we want to make for the utility authority board member, or table and decide between T or tomorrow at that meeting. So that's kind of where it is at this point. The utility authority, as you know, is a 7-member board. Of each city, including the town of Walls, has an appointee. The county has 2 appointees, and it's done on a 4-year basis. Whoever you appoint does serve a 4-year term under the local and private law. So that appointment is a 4-year term. So it's not one of those where you can reappoint me. It establishes a 4-year term, and that 4-year term is not revocable. So whoever the appointee is on that board for 4 years under the local and private and agency.
I got a quick question. I know you do stuff with the crew. Who typically for other cities are the members of, they're members of the crew? Would it be like people with a technical background that know water, sewer, stuff like that? Or
You got engineers, engineer, developer, and I'm not sure the other, some of the other occupations. I don't know what their previous experience was. Engineer, developers, planners, from those cities or in the community in those areas. But it is people with some kind of technical or engineering experience or city experience, if you will. And then you have developers on there as well who have real estate experience. So it's kind of to answer your question, it is a range of expertise.
I was mainly just curious if our previous representative is still interested in serving in that role, but I don't know, like, when this appointment was done previously, I don't remember that, or was that done, that was done before our term?
No, sir, it was done in 17. Yeah, we were 13 and 17, yes, we renewed it, and the current one would want to continue to do it. But also, I know there's others who that have been discussed as well as far as.
I haven't spoken to Donnie. I don't know if anyone spoke. I mean, does he know that this was up and it's going to show up at the meeting tomorrow? Or
Ask Nick to reach out.
I talked to him today, and just to the board, we were discussing it tonight, so I didn't know, but I did talk to him today and let him know that it'd be on the agenda, and I'll know more later on. So
Typically, other cities have, are they represented by somebody who lives in this state?
Typically, yes.
So, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Talk about this, I think. So we talked about this. I used to live in Southaven. I think it's
I don't disagree. Not that Donnie's been a South Haven guy all his life.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
I know he's got South Haven, you know. He'll definitely fight for South Haven. Knows about that.
I don't think there's any, unless y'all tell me something I don't know, I think Donnie's done a fine job for us.
Done a great job.
I don't think there's anybody to question the job he did. I think, if I'm understanding the board, it's just having someone that actually either works for the city or lives in the city.
Right.
Well, I would certainly hate to put anyone on the spot, but can we put our own utility director on the board? I mean, I don't even know that he would want to do the job, but it's.
Well, I think if the board decides that you want to make a change, my recommendation would be Chris Wilson, because Chris is involved with the entire operation. Chris has a great understanding of the entire city operation. So my recommendation, if the board is wanting to make a change, would be talk to Chris. If y'all decide to do that, he's definitely able to and willing to assume responsibilities. So if the board chooses to make a change, he would be my recommendation.
I'm good with Chris. I'll make that motion.
You making a motion for Chris Wilson? Okay. We have a motion to appoint Chris Wilson. You got a second, Alderman Wheeler made the motion, Alderman Gallagher, second that motion, second that motion. Any other discussion about that? Hearing none, roll call. Jim? What'd you say?
I asked Chris if he was okay. He didn't shake his head back here. He is now.
I just told you he was, I told him that. He had the opportunity to say no. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks. Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for a sole source provider. It's Benchmark Analytics for our Southaven Police Department.
Yes, this is a resolution and a sole source letter in contract with Benchmark, authorizes the sole source purchase of a Benchmark software in the amount of $19,125, and this will help conduct and monitor and maintain internal affairs investigations and complaints. It also will provide increased protection for the Southaven Police Department and by allowing us to monitor those internal affairs and use of force, officer performance evaluation and other functions along with early performance evaluations. It's a 3-year contract and allows for 2 one-year additional terms. It was recommended by the Southaven Police Department, and everything's in order in the resolution and the contract. They've made revisions to the contract as requested. So it's my authorization for the mayor to sign the resolution along with the contracts for the sole source purposes from Benchmark Analytics.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for unmarked vehicles.
This is just our unmarked vehicle resolution that's required by state law in accordance with Code 25-1-87 to provide the auditor's office for the vehicles that were not marked in accordance, that are not marked as required by the statute for certain police activities.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks. Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for surplus property in the Southaven Police Department.
And this is just the resolution for surpluses for electronic equipment from the SPD along with vehicles no longer needed by the SPD tonight. So authorization to surplus in accordance with 17-25-25.
Second.
We got a motion by Alderman Kelly, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks. Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hicks.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
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 Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda is authorization to bid the city entrance monument signs.
This is just authorization to bid those, and once the bids come in a couple of weeks or months, that will then be brought back to the board for either approval or authorization to rebid.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Yeah, we allocated this money in the budget, this year's budget, in the locations. What we try to do is hit the most high profile locations. Obviously, we did the interstate first. We did State Line Northwest Drive second. Then we did our eastern entrance at Malone and Goodman third. And so this would be, the first one would be the Getwell entrance coming out of Tennessee south into Southaven. So it would be on Getwell just north of the state line. And then we're working on another location at Church on the eastern entrance on Church, which is another high profile, high traffic area at Church and in the Malone area. We are having some issues finding the right place there. If we don't find the right location there, the third location would be either going to a district sign, maybe at the northeast corner of Church Road, Getwell. I'd prefer to do that. I think it's best to do the entrance signs first. Some of them we've had to put on hold because of construction that's going to occur. Highway 51 is quicker and quicker going to have to be widened. So we were going to put one at 51 Star Landing, but we decided to wait on that because we don't know the right-of-way situation with road expansion. Same thing at the intersection, putting district signs up at Church and I-55, with the interchange widening, the interstate widening project. We want to try to stay away from building something that has to be taken down if at all possible. So I think the safest thing to do is start at the state line one and look at the Church one. And so that's what's yes. Exactly. We've already contacted, Whitney's contacted the private property owner who does not live in our city, but she has made contact. The initial report is they like the idea. A lot of the property owners are, somewhat honored that the city would put their official sign there if it's, not interfering with, potential market value or future use of the property. And so, Whitney, that's correct. They were very favorable to allowing us, and just to be real specific, when you're entering the city, it's the first kind of elevated hill on the right. It's on the west side of Getwell. Before you get to, right before you get to the overhead power line, there's a little area that's a little opening, kind of elevated, and it's a perfect location. Yeah, see, yeah. So it's just another big entrance. Obviously, when people enter the city from the airport, many people don't go down airways. Many people that are traveling here will come down Getwell from their first trip here. So it's just these signs have proven to be a great first impression for our city, and so I think that'll be a great location. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a contract with Karen Combs for municipal elections.
And this is the contract with our elections commissioner to help with the primary election and primary runoff and elections that are coming up in April. So it's a new individual that worked this year. I think the previous review we've had this year is having his own race to do. And so and I think he will be able to help her some. But tonight, authorization to the mayor to sign this contract with Ms. Combs for the election consultant for the 2021 municipal elections.
Second. We have a motion from Alderman Flores, second from Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Next on the agenda is a contract with DeSoto County Deputy Circuit Clerk Brandy Johnson for election services.
Yeah, this is contract with the deputy circuit clerk. In the past, this contract has been with the actual municipal consultant, but this year they're contracting with the cities individually. So we contracted with Brandy Johnson, the amount of $500 for the primary election and $250 for the runoff election. That's for her services for setting up, programming, and testing the voting machines needed for the elections. So that was provided to us by her for review and approval. So we need authorization of the mayor to sign this contract to utilize Brandy Johnson for her services with the voting machines. I think they're new this year, or newer, and so that will need assistance with that from each city's perspective.
Second.
We have a motion from Alderman Flores, second from Alderman Gallagher. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Burks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Davis.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Next on our agenda, we have a citizen that requests to speak about our off-street parking ordinance. Mr. Chris Tucker, can you come forward, please?
Roy Stuffer. I've lived here for 53 years in the city. Got a little speech, but it ain't really what I want. I'll do. But you're addressing the issues of parking in my driveway, my side driveway. I have a camper. Y'all call it a utility trailer. And I received a warning on January 8th about violating section 13.7 of the city code. It reads, the ordinance states that no boat trailer, travel trailer, camper, or other semi-hours can be parked within 20 feet of the street. My trailer is a 6-foot wide, 10-foot long utility trailer that to me, it does not meet any of those qualifications as a recreational or commercial trailer. It's used to transport my lawnmower, to cut my mama's yard back and forth, miscellaneous use of things that I had to do on a regular basis. Been parked in the same year, in the same spot for the last few years, almost 5 years. Been parked, never had a problem, nobody ever said anything. But I was told it would block the view of the road, and I don't understand it because it's an open trailer. And I also was told I could park my vehicles in the same spot my trailer was parked, which is closer to the road than my trailer, because my trailer said 6 foot from the road. So when I measured them today, I got the ticket. Well, my truck and my other cars would block the vehicle coming around from Brookhaven Drive where I live. There's a curve there. And my mailbox and that fire hydrant has been taken out. I can't tell you how many times in the last 50 years I've lived there. But I don't understand that view. I just don't understand the ordinance, how it's written. I understand how it was made and stuff, and I can understand a trailer being parked there that's covered, or a commercial vehicle or something like that that could do. But for tell a private citizen who owns the house, pays the taxes, and has it on concrete, why we can't keep a vehicle there use all the time and they need. Maybe amended, I heard them amend the different things and stuff, but amend this to we can use our driveway. There's a lot of houses in the city that have been built back in the 50s and 60s, and there's new subdivision. Mr. Wheeler, I know you built, my brother lives. Driveways, we don't have that long of a driveway for our houses, and circumstances that sometimes create people from being able to park. Now, if I was blocking a view or using it for a commercial thing or doing something, I could understand where you're coming from. But to tell a private citizen that, hey, this is right on the street, when it's 6 foot off the street, but yet my truck or other vehicles will come straight to the street, which will block the view worse. And I just ask if y'all would change it, amend it, or help the citizens out in this in the city. And I know that it ain't just Cromwell Hills area, there's the whole city. I just wish that I could, hardships or something that can be amended to this ordinance where people can have personal items and use for personal stuff. Any questions you want to ask me, anything I need to do? I just don't want to break laws and do stuff, but I still don't think that my rights as a citizen in paying taxes need to be considered.
So you can take that trailer and back up and put your car with that trailer.
I have a camper, which my brother Mark gave to me, which is parked there. And then the rest additional my driveway, I can park, I can get my truck there. I can get my car there. And they don't have a problem with that. But my trailer, which is only 10 feet long, which leaves 6 to 7 feet from the road, they have a problem and was told that it blocks the view when you come around that curve. Well, I mean, my truck is 20-something feet long, which will take the whole extra part of the driveway, and it would block that view more than that open trailer does. And I mean, I don't know how the ordinance was written or anything like that, but I do know that it needs to be amended for circumstances and hardships on people and things that happen. You know, if you have a camper or this is just a utility. I could understand if my camper was parked there. I could understand if I had a boat there blocked. I could understand y'all tell me, hey, your truck's too close to a street blocking a view, you know, you need to. But to tell an open trailer that has no obstructions at all, that it's blocking a view and it needs to be moved or you're gonna get a ticket, that's, just don't understand.
I may can share a little bit of information, and this ordinance actually was written before me. I wasn't involved in the discussions when it was written, but I can explain this because I've experienced it many, many times in my role as mayor. A lot of times an ordinance, it's not possible to go into every single situation. So an ordinance or a law has to be written to where it encourages a desirable, discourages an undesirable. So let me just point this out to you. So the way it's written now, anyone would agree that if you have a utility trailer that has nothing on it, it's not blocking much traffic. But if you take a vehicle, it's gonna take up more space. But let me point this out to you. What if you have, like, I saw your picture where you have, you said your brother gave it to you, you have another trailer that's like a big camper.
28 feet long.
Right. So what if you flip those? What if the camper's at the back and those at the
I
front?
can see, you can see me having a problem with it.
Right.
I understand that 100%.
So that's
I
my
agree.
point, is that's why the ordinance is written, because it's not practical for a code enforcement officer to say, well, it depends what he's got on the trailer. Like, and I could give you another example. Let's say that you loaded that utility trailer up. Like, let's say you did cut down a tree or something like that and loaded that thing up with brush or whatever. Well, then you have the same obstruction from a traffic standpoint as you would with a larger trailer or an automobile. So the point is that every utility trailer is not empty. Like, you may have something on it, or I don't know what kind of lawnmower you have, but let's say you have a zero turn and some equipment on that thing where it's parked, then it is obstructing traffic. So
Yes, sir, I would understand that if it's for a commercial use, but it says empty, and that trailer's so lightweight, you can't load it down with anything heavy because it would bust it.
Right,
So
I'm not
it's-
denying, I'm just
I'm
saying.
saying, what I'm asking for is like an amendment or section to like small utility trailers, something that you can't use for what y'all are saying. I understand about all that stuff, but for something that's been parked there, I can go back 4 or 5 years, and nobody has ever said or done anything to it.
Yeah.
I don't know when this law went into effect.
It's been on
but
there.
I have assumed and thought it was before any of y'all was on this place.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't found it, I don't know how to go back and find it exactly, I'm not a computer whiz or nothing. But I did find the ordinance and find how it was written, and when it says similar, it's, to me, similar is talking similar to camping and commercial and recreational. This is a small utility trailer that has nothing to do with camping, has nothing to do with commercial or anything. It's to haul everything less than 1,500 pounds. And so you can't load it up, even with firewood, that high. You couldn't even get a cord on it, because it would break the axle or bend it, all the stuff. It ain't designed for that. So what I'm asking is there some way it can be mended or changed that small things like this that set so even 5 feet away from the road would be all right to park there and have. I mean, I don't have nowhere to put it other than the driveway, my house I live in. And I use it too much to get rid of it, not to have it. I mean, I don't have a luxury of having a big yard or nothing. My neighbor is 84 years old, and before her husband planted back in the 80s a big oak tree, and it had grown for the last 45 years, and it's about 3 foot on my property. It's pushed her fence on my property. So my 8 foot that I had in between my house and her fence, I can't get in my backyard due to her tree and fence. So, I mean, that's like a hardship on me, and I certainly don't have the money being disabled to pay to have that tree cut down for her, and she's 84, and she could care less. So, you know, I'm just asking for some type of amendment of hardship and understanding that lower the amendments, like on certain trailers. My camper or boat, I could understand being that far to the tree, especially if you ever been down Brookhaven and you come around that curve. In my lifetime, I can't tell you what I have seen happen. But that's why I don't want to park my truck that close to the street. They come around there and hit that mailbox, they're going to hit my truck.
And another thing too, the ordinance, and like I said, I wasn't the one that
Yes.
wrote the ordinance. However, handling many other situations like that, the other thing is that it is undesirable for some to have trailers parked at the bottom of the street where it's in clear view. Same thing, if you had somebody that loaded that trailer up and they left it there for days and days and days, that's an undesirable from a property value standpoint. So one of your neighbors or somebody called, our officer didn't just go there and say, hey, let's go ruin Chris's day. I mean, that's not what happened.
I can
Somebody called.
understand that, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate that, but I know all of my neighbors, and I went and talked to all of them first. None of them will confess to me, okay?
Well, they're not gonna.
I'm not gonna say they did it.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, it's been parked there for over 4 years,
Yeah.
5 years to the thing. And
My point
nobody's
is
had a
just to tell you
problem.
that it is an undesirable, that some of our citizens don't like to see it, that's why the ordinance is there. But bottom line is this, is the Alderman want to make a motion and change it. If I'm understanding Chris correctly, and Chris, correct me if I'm not, what you're saying is that, and I'll read this, do we have the ordinance? Do we have it on the overhead? We can look at it?
No, sir, we don't.
I have it right here, I'm just gonna let everybody else see it, I can read it. So basically what, if I'm understanding Chris, what he's saying, here's what how the ordinance reads. It says, no major recreational equipment such as boats and boat trailers, travel trailers, campers, and similar items shall be parked or stored on any street or on any yard in any residential district with the following exceptions. They may be parked between the driveway and side property line nearest the driveway on a hard surface, around there at least 20 feet from the street. And then it goes on to name a bunch of other different details. But basically what Chris is suggesting, that we would change the ordinance where we would make an exclusion where it says no major recreational equipment such as boats and boat trailers, travel trailers, campers, and similar items. We would say, comma, except utility trailers not more than 15 feet or something like that. Is that what am I understanding?
Less 10 feet or under, or anything that don't block the view. You could, I don't know, I'm not a professional at this and all that, okay? What I'm saying is, if it blocks the view, it shouldn't be there. I can't tell you how many times I pulled out of business and the trees and the stuff they got, and you can't see it almost half wrecked. I fully 100% support not blocking the view, okay? But, maybe small things that's used for four-wheelers, for lawnmowers, private stuff, nothing commercial, can maybe take it down to 5 or 6 feet from the road or 10 feet, but give us more leniency on the edge of our side driveway to park our stuff that we have.
So would you also recommend that, so how do we know, and I'm just trying to talk it from a practical standpoint.
I understand.
If we did what I just said,
Yes.
how would we know if the trailer's loaded or not? So again, I could use the example, even with a small utility trailer, sometimes people will load that thing up high. So how would we know, like our ordinance wouldn't cover that situation if it's loaded up, where it is blocking a view?
If it's blocking a view, then that would be it, but if you kept it 5 feet from the road, you would have plenty of view, it wouldn't be blocking the road. I mean, my camper 5 feet from the road, I would give you, yeah, it can block the view, because when you're coming down from Brookhaven Park, that camper would block the view. But something that's open trailer, that's something that's nothing but personal use, that's not blocking the view, give us more leniency to the streets, at least use most of our driveway.
Well, we could accomplish that goal by not changing the ordinance defining what kind of trailer. We would just go down to section B, which says it has to be provided at least 20 feet from the street. So you could change, if the board chose to do that, you could change that and lower that amount, is what you're talking about now, right?
I mean, how y'all want to word it, change it, but I don't want to be up here causing problems and going to court and trying to explain my side and wasting everybody's time and doing what, is that, if I was blocking a view or blocking or causing a problem, yes, sir, I would say yes, whatever citizen does that needs to be moved. I don't want to go down the street and I don't know how many people drive down Dotley. In the afternoon after 5 o'clock, you can't drive down Dotley if everybody parked on the side of the street. I mean, they said that ain't against the law. I can park my car on the side of the street.
And again, the ordinance is not just, that is a fact, that's
Yeah.
an undesirable. It's not just about blocking traffic. It's also, for a lot of our citizens, it's an undesirable to see trailers parked that close to the street and seeing what's in the trailer and all that. I'm just sharing
Maybe
with other citizens.
put it where it's like it has to stay empty. I mean, if it's not in use, nothing can be on it. I mean, I'm just thinking too, some suggestions of how y'all could help fix it and make every citizen, for we have, like I said, well, a lot of us don't have garages and closed houses and big hot yards and stuff to get and do. But if we could, as long as I kept it empty, nothing on it, just sitting there, would that be, I think my driveway's right at 50 feet long.
violation or is it a warning?
I got a, warning violation.
It's a warning, it's a warning.
So I had to move it.
So is it possible for us to have ordinance take a look at this and then, nothing done to Chris until we figure out what we want to do?
Yeah, but I wouldn't, that's the only thing is you really can't, our code guys have got to know what the job
I
is.
understand.
So until it's changed, we got to enforce it like it is, so, but no, I was going to suggest the same thing. This board can look at that, and that's why I'm asking a question, just to kind of get us off on the right foot or give us a plan, or step in the right direction anyway. How would we go about doing it without creating an undesired effect?
I understand, we fight for our neighborhood to keep clean.
Yeah.
I don't know if the law's changed. I know when I used to own my other house on Southaven Church, I used to be a mechanic, worked on a lot of cars. I had 30 days to work on my car, it had to be moved. It had to be running, moved, and all that. So I don't know if that law's still there or not. We don't want people parking in the yard when you have a mud hole and stuff like that. I understand that. I have no problem with none of that. I try to keep mine up the best I can and do what it says. All I'm asking is more leniency or wording somehow or another on the trailers that are for four-wheelers, for hauling the lawnmower to the shops, parents, things like that, to be more leniency on the smaller trailers. Now, if I had a 16 or 20-foot trailer, I could see everything you're saying. But a little small utility trailer, I call it a multi-purpose trailer.
Yeah.
Because it does everything, but it don't hold a lot of weight. So I can't load it down like some people saying, well, you put a quart of firewood on it. No, it won't hold a quart of
Right, no,
firewood.
I get you, but what I'm saying is that we have to, if we're gonna make a change to the ordinance, we have to write it in such a way that we address all, like your situation may be different from somebody else.
Yes.
So we have to be careful how we do it that way. And I didn't mean to stop, Alderman Flores, if you will, just elaborate further, but I was just gonna address, I don't recommend like, somebody has a concern about an ordinance, then I tell my guys, hey, well, don't enforce it then.
No.
I can't really get into that.
No, I agree. So what I'm recommending is we move this to ordinance so they can take a look at it, because I think this is a legitimate concern. We can take a look at it. In the meantime, I may be able to help you with the trailer.
Yes, sir.
I can help you move it back and forth so that you get compliance. So,
How long, has there just been a warning been issued at this point?
This was issued to me on January 8th.
And it's in compliance right now?
Well, I've got a friend that left home, I can keep it there for about a couple of weeks, but I gotta move it. I have nowhere really to put it.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying not to get a ticket and trying not to be against the law until we can work something out, and hopefully we can. I mean, I'm at y'all's mercy.
We appreciate that, Chris. But
I'm at y'all's mercy to
To
change
the mayor's
this.
point, I agree with what he's saying, but I definitely think that the ordinance committee needs to take a look at this.
Yes, sir.
In the meantime, me or John David might be able to help with that trail.
That would be awesome.
Mr. Tucker, if they can, I know somewhere in Columbia Hills that we can put it temporarily used.
I just, I have to use it, and then, I don't want it to be stolen. People laugh at, well, how do you know they don't get stolen? Well, I got 7 chains locked on it. I mean, if you're gonna cut that many locks, you're gonna get it before I can get outside. So, I mean, I've always been taught and went through some training. A thief wants something fast and easy. If he gotta work at it, they're not gonna touch it. So, it's been there that many years, and I haven't had any problems with it. But, I just need somewhere when I need it, I can get to it and come back and forth.
Just suggestion.
Yeah, I just want to say, since he's in compliance, at this point, there's been a warning issue. Obviously, there wouldn't be any enforcement issues because he's in compliance. Not like it's in
Right.
compliance. I think if the board wants to do it, I think there's a lot of ordinance we can look at to have this, and it wouldn't, to hearing you talk and Mayor talk and Alderman Flores talk, if there is any changes, it wouldn't be that hard of mine. Just, I have an idea of when these changes, it wouldn't be that hard of mine to wrap that up. However you want to do it.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that we can't get in a situation where somebody gets a warning and they come before the board and say, call off the dogs,
No,
It just doesn't work like that.
We can't, I get that.
I do.
But in the
I agree
meantime,
with you on that, too,
I think we'll
Mayor.
be able to help out.
Legally, I don't think you can do that. That's why I just want to make sure you're in compliance now.
Right now, I mean, bad as I don't want to do it, I did ask a friend, put it there for a couple of weeks, and that's why I didn't get a ticket. I can come to y'all on the gray side. And then if it don't work out, I gotta do something with it. I just don't know what yet.
Okay, here's my promise to you. I'll initiate discussion with the board and with City Attorney Nick right here.
Yes, sir.
And we'll have an answer if we can do it to make this work, or if we can't, we'll give you a straight answer before the next board meeting, which is, what is the date? Christie, anybody got a calendar?
Today's 19th.
It'll be the first Tuesday. 2nd of February. So
Yeah.
we'll give you an update on the next day. On the 3rd of February, we'll give you a clear answer.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is our planning agenda. Ms. Whitney Cook.
Yes, sir. We have two items on the agenda tonight. The first one is for a conditional use permit to allow motor vehicle repair to be located at 9113 Corporate Drive. It's going to be north of State Line Road. Corporate Drive's a cove, just west of the railroad tracks. The building was previously used for motor vehicle repair. It is an existing facility with a shop on site. So we have no problems issuing the conditional use permit with a 1-year conditional use permit and a 4-year extension of that. The one thing we did put in the statement, you can see on the aerial photos, is there's no available storage to the rear of the property. A lot of times we'll have them put a screening fence there, so all the storage on the back. We had the applicant agree that all storage must be kept on the inside of the building. If we do find that that becomes a violation issue, then we told them to reserve the fact to revoke the conditional use permit. They did agree to that. Planning Commission voted unanimously in favor of those comments.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve item number 1 on the planning agenda as presented.
Second. We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion on item 1? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
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 That motion carries.
Item number 2 is going to be a rezoning hearing. Nick, we're rezoning from agricultural to a PUD. So I guess we need to open the rezoning hearing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Who made that first? Okay, we have a motion to close the close this meeting, open a public hearing. Motion made by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The public hearing is now open since it's a potential rezoning.
Yes, sir. There is 90.73 acres of property on the north side of Star Landing Road, just west of Marshall Louise, basically between where you have Cherry Trees development on Star Landing and Lakes of Nicholas entrance. Big conservation area, lots of trees at the entry point. You'll know it, I guess, a little bit better from where our fire station will be located, kind of in front of this. The applicant has come in with 3 different scenarios, has worked very well with staff in terms of conserving the tree lines as best possible. Obviously, we want to stay below the low density designation of the comprehensive plan has got on there. The final draft that we received after the comments from Planning Commission is the one you have in play. If we could go up, yes. Again, it's 90.73 acres of property. There's 4 areas that the applicant is proposing for single-family residential. Area 4, which is your largest area, and it's directly off of the Star Landing road access, are the 20,000 plus square foot lots, totaling out at 75 lots and 42 acres. The minimum square footage we placed at 2,500 heated for this area. The applicant did agree to that. There's a transition area in area 3, which is 15,000 square foot. For the lot size, it's a 2,300 square foot heated minimum and approximately 5.84 acres for 13 lots. You have a 12,000 square foot area, which is area 2. It is adjacent to Cherry Tree. We wanted to transition properly from that area into this development with the 12,000 square foot lots. They agreed to the 2,300 heated square footage, and there's approximately 12 lots associated with that one. On the interior, which is area 1, the first proposal showed 8,000 square feet and 1,800 heated. We had them meet what's in Lakes of Nicholas, which is the 9,000 square foot, and they did agree to go to 2,100 for the heated square footage. You also have 3 open spaces associated with this. This is mainly around the existing tree lines that we're looking to preserve. In lieu of sidewalks in the half-acre lots, we have proposed a walking trail through those woods, a natural walking trail around the lakes. There's 2 preservation lakes there. You will transition to the standard sidewalks in area 3, 2, and 1. Those are the comments from both staff and from the planning commission. Once those changes were made, which is what you have in front of you tonight, there's a whole booklet associated with this that's beyond this PDF right here. Once those changes were made, planning commission voted unanimously in favor of it. It is compliant with the comprehensive plan for low density, and it is in character with the surrounding neighborhoods, with their lot sizes, their heated square footages, and the actual zoning. So it was recommended for approval with those changes.
On item 2, or
Yes, item 2.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve item number 2 as presented.
Second. We have a motion from Alderman Gallagher, second from Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion on item 2? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hughes.
Yes.
Alderman Page.
Yes.
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 That's my correction, my mistake. That was a little lengthy for me, I'm sorry.
So sorry. It was a big project.
Yeah. But anyway, my recommendation is that we rescind the motion and second, give people in the audience a chance to speak on the property. Will you rescind?
Yes.
Okay, rescind that. So now, public hearing is still open. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? Since there is a rezoning of property, is there anyone who would like to speak?
Bob Della, PT Design Studio. I just want to let you know, I am representing the developer. He's in favor of these planning commission conditions support, so. Just
Thank
to let you
you.
know.
Appreciate that. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, hearing none, now let's make a motion to close the public hearing. Is there a motion? Alderman Gallagher, Alderman Wheeler, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Now, is there a motion to approve item 2?
So move.
Alderman Gallagher, second. Alderman Flores, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hughes.
Yes.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Page.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Thank you.
Won't that fire station be south of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the property, prior to the developer purchasing it, this is the property that dedicated the fire station land to us. So,
Okay, next on the agenda is mayor's report. Just want to update on a few things. First of all, like Alderman Flores said, A2H is the architectural firm that designed fire station number 5. There's a sketch of that that's right there. So it's going to be an awesome facility. Long time being discussed. It's going to be a big deal. We did have it designed with a dual front, since eventually the curb and star landing is going to be straightened, or at least we've said that for 15 years. I don't know. But anyway, we designed the fire station so it will be functional both ways. So like if the road needs to go to or stay on the south side, we're good. If it needs to be moved to the north side of the station, we're good there as well. So they did a good job designing it. It's going to be a beautiful facility, going to be a big deal for our city, giving us faster response times to the obviously fast-growing southeastern part of our city, like you just voted on the planning agenda. So it's going to give faster service for our city, and also going to make a big difference in our rating. We expect that with this station that we'll go from a 3, which is already awesome in Mississippi. We expect that it's going to bump this down to a 2. And possibly put us on the verge of even going to a 1. So it's a big deal for our city. But anyway, I want everybody to take a look at that if they haven't seen it. That's fresh. We just got that in the last few days. Next thing, just want to update everyone on the COVID-19 vaccination situation. Obviously, this is the most important thing. There's been so much talk over the pandemic about what we should do economically. Should we shut this down? Should we limit gatherings? It's just, y'all know, it's just been the craziest thing of our lifetime. But now is the time to shine. So anyone that has the ability and the leverage to get vaccinations into people's arms as fast as we can, that has got to be priority number 1. So I know that that our state is relying on the federal government to provide the vaccine. That seems to be changing daily. but then our state health department is responsible for doing the free vaccinations. The report is that it's my understanding, we've been pressing, our fire chief has been in touch with the Suffolk County Emergency Management Agency and the health department trying to press this. I've been trying to press it. Let's get the vaccinations in people's arms. I mean, let's don't, this 6-month plan, this 5-month plan, screw that. I mean, all that we've been through, let's start sticking arms. Let's go. Let's get people, if we have medical people that are retired and want to come out of retirement to give us more professional help, then let's do it. I mean, let's have an open mind. Let's think outside the box. Vaccinate 200 people a day, that's a joke. We're not going to get where we're going to go. If we vaccinate 200 people a day, do y'all realize that it will be 3 years before we vaccinate everybody in this county? It's crazy. We've got to start sticking arms and we got to go. So, Chief, I appreciate Chief Scallions for kind of pressing on my behalf, and I appreciate the governor seems to be doing the best he can every day to change that. But we got to stick more arms, and it's my understanding that that later this week that we're going to move the vaccination site from the health department in Hernando to the Lander Center, and we're going to start sticking more arms, and we're going to start getting that up to 1,000 a day. My analysis, just and again, not trying to armchair quarterback anybody, but just knowing the sense of urgency that we have here, we need to be, that 1,000 a day needs to go to at least 1,500. I'd like to see it at 2,000 a day, and I think that we need to do what we got to do to get that to 2,000 a day, so we can get all the people that want to be vaccinated. We can get that done quickly. The other thing that's hopeful is I just think, think about this. If you've been worried about it, I know everybody's got their own worry level with this, a lot of different opinions. But if it's something that really has bothered you, think about when you get that second vaccination. It's got to be liberating. You get the second one, you can go back to life before March the 12th of 2020. We almost have all forgotten what that was like. And I can't wait to see, everybody go back to life the way it used to be. And so I just think that we got so much hope. When you get that second vaccination, you're good to go. And it's got to be a great hope that we all have to be excited about. But we'll continue doing that. I know information changes daily. Chief Scallions in our police department get updates, and they forward that to me. But I'm going to continue pressing to do whatever we can do to help the state and to help the people of our county get vaccinated as quickly as possible. We can't wait till the end of June to have everybody a chance. We need within 60. We should be aggressively shooting for within 60 days to get everybody a chance to get vaccinated. I just don't see any reason why we can't do it. But anyway, enough of that. Just a little bit of hope there. General financial update. Not to get into a bunch of details, but our financial situation will be, as every year, will be audited. But the initial numbers are good. I mean, we continue to do well every year. One specific thing that Chris updated me today about is, we make a big deal out of the 12% of our general fund unassigned fund balance policy, our net reserve policy. That's an incredible policy, very smart. And that amount is about, that minimum to be in compliance with that for us, with our general fund budget is about $6.2 million. And it looks like we're going to be at about $8.3 million. So we're in good financial condition, and we need to hold that reserve, and that's a good report. Told you about Fire Station 5, and then basically that's all I have. Anybody got any specific questions for me tonight? Okay, we'll move on. Next on the agenda is our personnel document.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the personnel document as presented on the stage.
Second. Good motion, Alderman Payne, second Alderman Hoops. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, I'd like to see we're about to lose our receptionist. She's going to retire. And I just want to give a shout out to the fantastic job she's done for the city and stuff like that. That she used to feel there. She's always been a smile in the city.
Cheryl's done an incredible job, and I've had a one-on-one meeting with Cheryl just to commend her for doing an incredible job. She does so many different things that you wouldn't know. Just greeting everyone, guests to the city. Ranging from somebody coming to pay their water bill or somebody coming to bring a multi-million-dollar development to the city. She does a great job you know, being a great first impression for our city. And so I have thanked her for the incredible job she's done. So I appreciate you bringing that up tonight. And we do want to let Cheryl know that we appreciate her. And let's give her a round of applause. And we've already started the process of filling that position. So we will have that position filled. So there will be no disruption in service whatsoever. And we wish Cheryl well in her retirement. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call on the personnel document.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is our city attorney's legal.
I have a couple items tonight. First is just authorization to approve the body camera public request form. It's just the form that we use for these public record requests when we get them. It's been developed by the Southaven Police Department, made a couple of small revisions to it. So tonight's authorizations we have in our minutes for that form and the cost associated with it. It'd be $25 for the video plus the hourly rate in accordance with this year's state law.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion?
Hey, would you explain how we got that $25?
That was, I think that's the cost of the actual video and the video disc. That's actually, the cost was developed by the Southaven Police Department for that portion of it. Typically a CD costs $10, but with the technology we're going to use for that CD and the video, it's going to be $25 just for the actual video itself. That will not include the actual hourly rate associated with redaction, review, and that type of thing.
The $25 is going to cover that?
That'll cover the cost of the CD itself, yes. But it won't cover the cost of the actual hours, it'll be an extra additional cost. But your question about will that $20 cover the cost of the CD, yes, it will cover that cost. But not the hourly rate will be an additional cost. If it gets to a point where we have to make multiple CDs and one thing, each one will be a cost associated with that. And also gets to a point where we're not making enough, or it's not going to cost us, or not charging enough, we'll be at the board asking for increases as well to make sure that the city's not losing money. We can't make money on this, but we can't. We're not legally authorized to lose money. So.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have, motion carries.
Next, these all came this afternoon and yesterday. It's the approval of the mobile manager service agreement. This agreement was just finalized this morning, and so the public works to go ahead and get everything implemented. It's with M2M Management Solutions for the vehicle tracking services and equipment for their vehicles, which will help with employee safety and accountability as far as location. I had some changes to the contract. They agreed to those changes. So tonight, authorization for Bradley Wallace to sign that agreement with M2M Management Solutions.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries.
Next, just approval of Emergency Equipment Professional, Inc. For the bid for the first tactical brand uniform apparel. This went to bid by the Southaven Police Department. Emergency Equipment Professionals was the low and only bid provided. They provided a bid for the uniforms. So tonight, authorization to accept them as the low bid, and either Chief or Chief Little sign any and all documents associated with that, taking out actions to effectuate the intent of the awarding of this bid.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
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 That motion carries.
And the last item is approval of contract and a letter agreement with Barracuda Networks, Inc. It's a contract for the cloud-based services software needed for the email for the city. The software itself is ancillary to the actual service of the cloud-based being provided. Since it's ancillary, there's no requirement that we get bids for the software. That's the main thing we're purchasing is the service for the cloud-based storage and software needed for that storage. The original agreement was a standardized form that they couldn't change, and there's some terms in that agreement that we necessarily couldn't agree to, so they did provide a letter agreement that'll also be signed by Chris Shelton along with the contract that notes that this is a government entity, and any clause and or provision within the contract that we can't agree to in the law of the Constitution will not be bound by. So that will be two separate agreements in the minutes, but that should cure any concerns we have with that actual standard oil pipeline and the actual Barracuda contract. And this service will replace the equipment that we currently use for the Bart Mail and City.
I'll make that motion.
Second. We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion?
Any question? Chris, is this where the email is going to be hosted and stored?
Yes, sir. For email archiving, we still will maintain the Exchange server here where your actual emails are, but this will basically perform the archiving and the security function of it in the cloud.
So they'll be doing the filtering?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion?
Just it's a $12,200 per year contract for 5 years.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. Next on the agenda is the utility bill adjustment docket.
Mr. Mayor, move we approve the utility bill link adjustment document as presented on this table.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Gallagher. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hughes.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
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 Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda are 3 claims dockets. Is there a motion to approve docket 1?
Mr. Mayor, move we approve docket number 1 in the amount of $2,470,551.27, including franchise.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hughes.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. Okay, is there a motion to approve docket 2?
Mr. Mayor, move we approve docket number 2 in the amount of $2,179.60.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hughes.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. Okay, is there a motion to approve docket 3?
Mr. Mayor, move we approve docket number 3 in the amount of $15,533.16.
Second. We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is the purpose of determining the need for executive session.
Make that motion.
Second. We got a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Wheeler. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The need this evening is to discuss economic development within our city, which there is a large amount. Is there a motion to declare executive session? Got a motion by Alderman Hoots, second by Alderman Flores. All in favor say aye. Any opposed say no.